Dude, how you doing?
Good. Are you streaming yet? Can I host you?
Yeah, I'm kicking over on mine.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yay! Thank you kindly, dude. How are you doing?
Good. I mean, forgetful, but good.
Dude, it's entirely cool. Like, I had one guy who runs like a Japanese publishing house who forgot for like 3 days.
Oh my goodness. I got like a raid forming that is coming out of nowhere. I don't know what's going. I guess people are still in my chat for some reason. Well, we're coming to get your ass.
No! Okay, alright, my crew, I need you ready to roll. Jesse brings the thunder.
I'm coming to you
Dude,
right
you
now.
got 600 people!
Coming to get your ass now.
Alright, my raid defense was ready. We pre-prepared.
Yeah, but are you prepared for tentacles?
Wait.
Are you prepared for tentacles?
No one's
I don't
prepared.
know. Here's the thing. My stream ended, and I don't know how many people who were in my chat who were just still, like, asleep. So I feel like this is like a fake 600. My sympathies. I feel like that may not be a real 600 people.
Oh, dude,
I'm such a dummy. Forgive me. I, like, some reason, totally spaced on the fact that, like, not only was I going to interview with you, but also because I'm an idiot, I was streaming and I should have just, like, auto-hosted you afterwards and rated, and totally just, like, was like, oh yeah, I gotta shut down the stream, and then, okay, I gotta say, I'm such an idiot. I'm so dumb. Well, whatever. I'm not the most technical savvy person.
Oh, dude, I make it work. So on the one hand, dude, you know, I invited you here because, one, I value your opinion on some of the stuff I want to talk about today.
Thank
you know, you're the guest on. And two, it basically gives me a reason to, like, guilt trip you into having you on the show again, which I'm entirely for.
Great. Cool. I'm so excited.
Oh, the raid defense is kicking off.
I see that. I don't like it. Not a fan.
Coffee Rage, thank you kindly for throwing a follow. So if you are not streaming, I might be able to get your face via video camera.
Oh, sure.
I have an interview mode, so people can see you all.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
let's fucking do this. That's
Hey,
it.
there I am.
There you are. And now, if I do this... No, hang on a sec. I goofed slightly. What you were saying about not being technically savvy. You wouldn't think I'd fucking do this for a living, would you?
Welcome to the world of the internet.
Yup. Now, alright, once more with feeling.
Welcome to the world of being an old man on the internet.
Yay! We got Jesse!
Hey, hello. Hi. I can't look at the screen because I'm behind. So I have to pause. I'm going to just turn off the stream because I am somehow so far behind that watching me is making me crazy. Hi. Hello.
Dude, it's so good to see you. And, yeah, again, thank you for bringing your crew over, yo. So, ladies, gentlemen, and individuals of all persuasions, if by some bizarre chance of internet coincidence you do not know my guest, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Jesse Cox. Jesse has been one of the forefronts of kind of the content creation explosion that affected the games industry so hard.
You mean old man who's been around too long is what you're saying. Guy who's been around since the beginning. What an old fart is what I'm hearing.
Okay, so my lot is kicking off. Isocrid just gave a bunch of subs. Onion just did. There's gonna be a lot popping off today.
Look at that. Look at that. Congrats.
I will say, friends, if any of you do a gifted sub or throw bits, whatever, and I don't acknowledge, I do credits at the end, so I will be thanking everyone. So anyway, yeah.
I heard not today, unfortunately. Not today.
So yeah, I knew Jesse from a professional capacity back when I was at CA, and we ended up being friends after I kind of ruined your evening one time.
My evenings are never ruined. My evenings are never ruined. I always have good evenings.
I mean, I still applaud both your humor and that when we came over, you were like, yeah, those are my people. For those of you who don't know, the TLDR, we were very drunk at an industry party and decided we need to go get food, went to a nearby Pizza Express, and we all thought it would be hilarious to have MLG soundboards on our phones.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Yeah, we thought it would be hilarious.
We
definitely thought it would be hilarious. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe drinking on an empty stomach was a bad idea, but we cleared out a whole Pizza Express by just going wee, 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 on our phones for several hours.
Here's the thing. Pizza Express, when it's great, it's great. I love a good Pizza
it.
Express.
I kind of miss it. Yeah, so, dude, welcome. I also love that doing this is an excuse to occasionally catch up with my friends, because, like, TwitchCon,
Incessant clicking.
TwitchCon and the Ilk.
I can't wait to hear where this is going. Yes, go on.
What no,
TwitchCon,
like,
what now?
TwitchCon and the Ilk is very much your hella busy time, and PAX and stuff like that. Like, TwitchCon for
TwitchCon's
me,
not necessarily busy for me. I had one busy day at TwitchCon, but TwitchCon's kind of like not my scene. I don't know. I don't thrive in a world where people have their names in the back of their shirts. I never have like a good time there. I'm like,
I mean,
I'll be at a bar.
I have my name on the inside of my shirt, but that's more a practical reason.
Right. So you know it's yours. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
So yeah, the reason why I have been so keen to have you on the show is...
yeah?
No, it's actually a follow-on from when I had Susan Arndt on the show earlier in the year.
Lovely person, yeah.
And we were talking about how content creators changed how we talk about video games. They changed the ecosystem. And I'm like, who do I know who was there at the start, who's still involved? Oh wait, fellow Ginger! It's my friend Jesse!
The other one of us trapped here forever.
Dude, I volunteered for this. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, you volunteered as tribute, and it turns out being tribute's not a fun thing. It's crap. It's awful.
Yeah, but I also did want to take a moment to apologize for the mix-up on the image as well. I'm so sorry, dude.
Whatever. It's fine.
I mean, it's something I actually like to touch on because of...
Sure.
I think it's part of what is indicative, but let's go back. So, for those...
Okay, I'm on your train. Take me where we're going. I'll get off at the station.
Mate,
where are we going?
This is multi-track drifting anime style. So, to start, when would you say your... For time frame, for those who may not know your career, when would you say your big explosion was in terms of like involvement with discussing games from the perspective as you have?
Well, according to the Golden Joysticks, I blew up in 2016 with up-and-coming YouTuber of the Year. But really, I love that trophy's around here somewhere. It's one of my favorite things I've ever won. Where apparently 2016 was when I finally did it. Yeah, I have been doing YouTube-y stuff since 2010. And actually before that, but officially since 2010. And I've been on the internet making videos and doing stuff since well before that. I was way back in the day, like the year 2000, making anime music videos for...
Oh, dude!
What was it?
Were you on AMV.org?
Dude, I was.
They still send me a birthday card every year.
I had a lot of popular videos on there. They're all Final Fantasy based, which was hilarious. It was all I had a lot of really popular videos, but because the quality sucks now. If you look at them now, they're terrible. But yeah, those videos I don't own them anymore because I would upload them and be like, well, that was fun. But people on the internet, like random people, keep uploading the videos and they get like 1 million views, and I'm like, you sons of bitches. But I don't care. It's it's one of those like early internet things where you sort of put it out into the ether and hope it works. Yeah, I've been doing stuff on the internet forever, since I was freshman year of college. Wow. But even before that, I was playing like all the old online games. The only game I never played was EverQuest.
Okay.
I never played EverQuest. I had a friend, my friend Mike in high school, loved EverQuest. He would have parties at his house, like genuine, crazy rage part, like just the craziest parties in the world, and he would vanish, and people would be like, and everyone was like, oh, he's probably like making out with some girl. I'd be like, I'll find him, and I'd walk up to his room. He was in his room playing EverQuest. He's like, bro, this dragon only spawns once every 48 hours. I gotta get in there for a chance to get this loot. And I was like, okay. So
hey, I'd laugh, but for us it was Ultima Online. Like, we'd have it running on a little laptop, and people would take turns doing all their fucking daily, well, the equivalent of their dailies. Oh.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I understand now that I have played so many MMORPGs now. I understand, but way back when, I was like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, bro, this is important. And then my gateway was Final Fantasy 11. So I was like a big Final Fantasy nerd back in the day. And so I played Final Fantasy 11, and that was the gateway to MMORPGs for me. That's where I was like,
that's where it came together.
Yeah, that was my gateway. And then after that, I realized how awful Final Fantasy 11 is, because like at level 14, you must group up with people, and that sucked. And so when things like WoW or other things came along that were like, you don't even need to group, I was like, this is the greatest game ever.
God, See, the thing was, World of Warcraft, for me, was... I knew what it was going to do. I'd been in the throngs of the addiction. I did like 4 or 5 years on Ultima Online in varying capacities. I was dating someone, and they wanted me to play a character for them, and I was like, no, we'll do it together.
That sounds like an older brother move.
Many years
you
later.
can play my character. Yeah.
So...
Stop that incessant clicking.
And just very, very quickly, so Lily and everyone, thank you for everyone who's just chucking subs and bits and everything in. You're all feckin' legends, thank you. I will thank you properly at the end.
I mean, like, they're like tall tales, maybe. Or like, maybe an urban legend, but fucking legends?
They keep me alive, dude.
But like...
Well... Dude, since last we spoke, I actually ended up doing this full time now, so it's this lot over here that they pay for my food, so I'm very grateful. But that's on the story. That's on the story.
Whatever. No, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm just giving them a hard time because I can, because it's not my stream. They're actually amazing. I'm just giving them a hard time because I'm a dick. Yeah.
Okay. So, as I was saying earlier in the show, the reason why I wanted to invite you on was that gaming as a space has changed drastically, and it seems to still be evolving wholeheartedly. You know, when I talked to Susan, she talked about the glory days when we had games media, especially through print media, was the main thing. And then fecking...
I would say glory days might be the wrong term, but I understand. Please continue.
I think it was in the perspective of like, you know, like when
I understand where she's coming from, but I would say glory days might be the wrong term. But yes, I get it.
Then internet journalism kind of came along. You know, the outset of like the blog that turned into things like Kotaku, IGN, etc. How online games media pretty much ate print media's lunch money and has left them gaunt and without hope.
Right.
People predicted the same thing was going to happen when individuals like yourself started springing up. When we started seeing like content creators being able to discuss and deep dive into games outside of the standard news cycle. But what's ended up happening is this this kind of rich landscape where we have all in both. And so that was the cool stuff I wanted to talk about today, because you were there, my friends.
Sure. Like I think out the gate, the premise, like I would love to know what you think about what places like Kotaku and IGN and like all those things, what they become. Because truly back in the day, they were the online version of print media.
Yeah.
And I think the thesis statement that you have, boy, look at me. My master degree Jesse Cox coming in.
Oh yeah, bring the thunder.
I think your initial thoughts about how online media changed and took away from print media, which it made it easier to access. Like it makes perfect sense. It's like a horse and automobile kind of thing. But I think the difference is that YouTube and online video reviews and streaming they aren't necessarily a different next level version of like a Polygon or something. What it did do is it changed the way that they had to present their content to keep up with this other version of the content, right? Because just like all things corporate businessy, there are levels and layers you have to go through.
Yeah.
When instead, if you are just a YouTuber being yourself, you don't need to check your video with anyone. You can just like upload a video and your opinion is out there. And it's the first opinion people see. So by the time like an online IGN posts a thing, people already have thoughts about it. And because there's so many layers again to like those aspects of like, Polygon's, IGN's, GameStop's, Spots, whatever, that kind of thing. There's always another layer, and so it's the idea of like there's like ads.
Indeed.
And there's like, does this person, like, do we think they are giving this a review because they're being paid, like that kind of stuff. Like there's a whole layer of stuff that happens, and then it became less of a, is YouTube and Twitch a new thing, and more of there are competition, like an active, not like print and media, like online media versus print, where like one was the next logical step, and if you weren't on that journey, you weren't one was picking up new views, right? The online media was easier to access. It was picking up new views. It was easier to get into people's eyes than a magazine, which took X number of weeks to print and make and get out. So all the information was pretty much old, right? And so it's like a different level. It's like radio and TV. But now the space we're operating in is like the TV space between, Ricky Lake. God, that's dating me. Like, like an old crazy, like Jerry Springer versus the news, right?
Yes.
Like that's where we're at. And people tend to gravitate more to the Jerry Springers than they do the news.
True.
And that's kind of what's happening. And so in my mind, I see Polygons and Kotakus and IGNs trying to like put their foot into that world, which is like, it never works out for them.
Well,
it's unfortunate.
Well, no, it's an interesting thing that you bring up, because it's something we've seen is that with varying levels of success, as these journalistic outlets have started moving into content creation. I was a big fan of Video Gamer during the glory days, which is one of the reasons why I do a terrible Glaswegian accent all the time.
Sure.
And Polygon's currently doing very well at it. Like they've changed and iterated their video content. So as to put a toe into both waters. But what's fascinating, and this is what I'm finding at the moment, is that the current news cycle is not a sustainable thing. I mean, as we've seen with, I'm going to pick on Kotaku a little bit, but like Kotaku.
Oh, I thought you meant like news cycle in general, like mass media news. I was like, it apparently is, because every day it's a new thing to make us all like freak out.
Yeah. Well, with the games media news cycle, it seems to be that engagement is still how they're making money. They need people to click on articles to generate ad revenue to make that cash. So they're moving less away from like good editorials and reporting, more to things that will hit, direct engagement.
Absolutely. And that's
3 articles on Cyberpunk 2077 will do better than one well-written article on an interesting or innovative title. And I'm not throwing shade here. That's just the business model they're in.
I agree with you. I think it is 100% about clicks, but that's the internet. Unfortunately, the internet has devolved into everyone realizing that it's all algorithms, and the best way to cheat algorithms and get views is by making something controversial or making something that people really want to see. And so if you're a major video games news outlet, you have a whole list of like, all right, so this is the thing that people really want to see. People responded really well to Cyberpunk, for example. Post more Cyberpunk. But it's the same thing. Like, that's why J. Jonah Jameson was after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man sold newspapers, right? And so he would just be like, "Get me Spider-Man!" And so that's why he would put him on the front cover, because it sold newspapers.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was his foil because it made him money.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's the case here, where they're like, bring the audience, bring the outrage, or bring the fans, but bring some emotional support, because also algorithmically, same with YouTube, same with everything, the more, like, if someone posts an article that you disagree with everything they say, when you go into chat and you start fighting with people in chat or the comments or whatever, you're actually super helping that article.
Yep.
The article that you hate, you've now given them exactly what they were looking for, interaction.
Yeah, and that's That turns into a graph. They show advertisers. I want to jump into chat very quickly for two things. One, my good friend Kika would just like to thank you for signing their AD&D DM's guide.
Hey, thank you. I'm honored.
Now, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing usernames, because Muthrakami said, I do read online games media like Rock, Paper, Shotgun to get out of the YouTube bubble that I find games wouldn't. Now, it is worth mentioning that Rock, Paper, Shotgun is kept upright by being part of a conglomerate. I think it's Gamer Network. So, Eurogamer, EGX... Oh, wait, no, because they're now owned by ReedPop. So, Rock, Paper, Shotgun is able to maintain its very, very unique voice because it has a big company looking after it. You know, you're not going to get another Old Man Murray situation. But this isn't a throw rocks at media. I wanted to start talking about the good. And the reason why I personally feel that individuals like yourself have become such a voice in the discussion of games media and games culture is because you came from a deep dive. You came from a place of like, this is a game that I like. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do a video on it, and I'm going to show it in its entirety. I'm going to talk about the things I love, maybe the things I dislike, but like that core deep dive is something that the game cycle just wasn't possible. You can't do a 10-hour deep dive video if you've got to get 4 articles out before evening and then worry about tomorrow's bunch of review copies. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the biggest, I think, going back to what Susan said, I think maybe that's what I would say would be the glory days, is when a magazine had a month to get an issue out. And so they had the time to put into stuff. And now it falls on the devs to get someone the game early so they can have the review up for launch.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you're putting and this perpetuates the cycle, because if I am a games journalist and I need to write a review on a thing, it is now my job to write it as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. And what that ends up doing is either burning them out or making them have to cheat or lie.
Yeah.
Or post things that are not accurate. And all that does is feed into the BS of like, games journalists are hacks and this is bullshit and it's all lies and games journalism is dead. Like that kind of stuff. And it just makes it worse and worse and worse. And it's the fault of the system. The system is the problem. Everyone trying to like, again, it goes back to algorithms. You see it on YouTube, you see it on Twitch. This is like the place I come from. If I want to make a video, let's say I make a video about Dead Space, it's years old. It could be the best damn video in the world. I could have the most fans possible watch it, and it still would not be pushed to people because it's not a modern thing. But if, let's say, on the 25th of this month, I make a video about Outer Worlds, if I put it out on the 25th, that could be the shittiest video ever. It'll be pushed to everyone. Because the name, because people are looking for it, because it's important at that one moment. But I don't know anything about Outer Worlds yet. I don't know how great that game's going to be. But I know that Dead Space is a phenomenal effing game, right? And it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't matter. Because it's not, even if people are like, oh yeah, I want to see new Dead Space content. It's so old, the internet's like, no one cares. But if you keep, like, After Party comes on the 20th. If I make After Party videos, the internet will push those. Yeah. Google, the algorithms, because Google runs almost everything, the algorithms will like push it and be like, oh, this is brand new content for a brand new thing that people are actively searching for. More people, more eyes. And so the game then becomes, if I'm a content creator, if I'm a reviewer, if I'm if I'm anything, constantly keeping up with release cycles, constantly putting out new articles over and over and over again. And if you can't do that, then the other option is, how do I get clicks? And that becomes things like clickbaity stuff. And that's like, okay, so no big games this week. All right, come up with a clickbait thing. Like, that's a very simplified version of it, but that's like what it feels like, because that's how the game's played now. The algorithm chasing game. It sucks. It's not cool. It's how YouTubers and streamers and writers burn the hell out.
Yeah. I mean, as a small aside, one of the things that I am enjoying is moving to, at least in this weird little, like, oasis moment that we have on Twitch, which is, like, directly talking with people does seem to be a better sustainability than chasing the big numbers right now. So, at least in this small period, like, we've got a ton of people hanging out while two gingers and a dog talk about games media. Like,
Two Gingers and a Dog is a great band. Great band.
We are two gingers and a dog, and we're here to make you feel sad and stuff.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll be the drummer. That's all I can do.
So one of the things that I do try and focus is not get onto too hard of a stone throwing cavalcade. I do try and look at the positivities. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier was the games journalist is a hack. No, don't worry, I'm going in a positive direction. Which does come from the fact that if a good journo is presented with a game that takes 50 hours to complete and their deadline is 8 p.m. that evening, they're not going to be able to put the hours in. So they do have to use a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding of what they know to try and, I guess, guess and predict. Now, it doesn't always work. One of my favorite games is Rain World, which reviewed like crap. It's an incredible game, but it's particularly brutal.
That first 2 hours of learning how to play is so difficult. And I can understand why people will be like, this game sucks. I get it, because I understand, having played through it, that like that learning to cope in that world is hard.
Yeah. But then the niche is the wrong word. The point where I feel that content creators have sprung forth is that you can play that for 40 hours.
Yeah.
You can go to town on that, and I don't know if you've had the chance to play through it.
RimWorld's great.
I got my 3 slug cats tattoo, just flashing the guns for you. But yeah, the ending of that experience is utterly worth it, and that is the space that we kind of fill. And sorry, I mean we in the general sense. I'm not putting myself in the same category. Like,
well, I think the in my mind, I've always seen games journalism, games developers, and gaming influencers. What a terrible fucking word. But that, like, we all are symbiotic. We all need each other in this industry. But because it's all hyper competitive for the limited number of eyeballs, everyone's at each other's throats constantly. And it's like, but we all are in this to get, like, I only succeed in when I do better when developers and I have access to each other, right? And journalists do better when, like, they have access. Like, we all are interconnecting and not, like, trying to bribe each other and pay each other off and, like, make a good review. Yeah. But just, like, having access to talk and interact and, like, we all lift each other up by working together to make the community better. And I feel like there's many people who are like that, but there are also many people who are like, get me mine first. And that's fine. You do you. But I always think that that's the wrong choice when it comes to growing the gaming world and the gaming space, because no matter what, this space started, you know, let's say 30 years ago, but, you know, more than that. But it's like, it started as the nerdy ass space, like a bunch of big dweebs getting together and, like, talking about games. And because everyone back in the day, like, helped each other and, like, worked together, as a space, it grew. And the competition was friendly competition. And then there were a few times where it was definitely not, but it was friendly competition between people. And when you get moments where it's like the CEOs of all the different companies standing on stage, like that kind of stuff, it's everyone understands, like, where this came from. And what, you know, it's video games. It's supposed to be for fun. It's like, at the end of the day, it's entertainment industry. You're not supposed to be, like, destroying each other and, like, oh, I hate this thing. And, like, I don't know. That's just always been my vibe. That, like, I feel like we should always be trying to work together to help each other. Doesn't matter who the person.
Agree. Working in games, that was the one thing that was so wonderful about it, is that unlike working in, like, film and television and things like that, like, you do feel that cohesion. You do feel like part of. And while sometimes it's cheesy seeing those executives on stage, most of them know each other. In fact,
yes, that's what it is.
Stuff.
As much as I as much as I think maybe I'm kind of getting over Kojima, like, maybe it's a little too much, and maybe Death Stranding will be, like, a game that if it's in like the last Metal Gear Solid game, I'll love the first 5 hours and then be bored with the rest of it. Like maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But I still love the fact that Kojima is like best buds with everyone on planet Earth.
Yeah.
He shows up in photos with other devs and they all look so happy. And I'm just like, that's something that is a rarity in like the business world. This dude is your competition and they're like, come over. We just want to hang out with you. Like, that's huge.
Dude, when he was shopping around for the engine they were going to use for Death Stranding and like the publishing deals, like everyone in the industry that he went to go visit was all just taking selfies and hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no bad blood, there's no animosity in it. It's fucking wonderful.
And that's a rarity in the business world. It really is.
All right, so I'm going to jump back to the Halcyon days of 2013.
Okay.
Because sadly I wasn't able to get you in on that Total War event that we did in Rome. Still, if I just planned it a little better. But what I want to highlight is that...
Can I tell you?
Go for it.
I have a problem. I play Total War 3 Kingdoms like every day. I can't stop. I love the 3 Kingdoms period. I love playing that game. It's a problem I have. Anyway.
Mate, I got... Dogbert hooked me up with a copy, and when that happens, that's going to be my life. Oh, no.
I can't stop playing it. I literally... 3 Kingdoms is like... Because this is the first Total War game where I'm like... Well, you know what? Just talk about anything. I'm gonna go look at my achievements because it's insane.
No,
the achievements I have for this game, I think I have all but like 6. And I'm just like, and they're the ones that are like play the online version with people. I'm like, I don't know that I want to do that. But I've like done the things that are like get 11 of the best horsemen possible. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's Steam achievements. They don't matter. Achievements never matter, but especially Steam achievements. And I'm just like, okay, yes, I will play a South and then betray a person and then have someone assassinate. Like the most convoluted achievement. I was like, I will do that. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'll do it.
Dude, I look forward because you know that's probably something referencing the Romantic and the 3 Kingdoms period.
Absolutely, it is.
I haven't started 3 Kingdoms yet because I know it's going to consume me. Because, you know, when you worked in a game series, and I will say that working on Total War didn't turn me off it as a project, but I took a little break after I left CA. And especially Warhammer 2, my God, that game's phenomenal. And
here's the
articulation from there, like, yo!
I want to just say, Warhammer 2, great game. But as someone who wants to play Chaos, they still can't get Chaos right. Not because they can't get the factions right. Not like, the biggest problem I have is that Chaos... for 90% of the Chaos campaign is just next turn, next turn, next turn. And you have to wait for the 800 factions to go. And it's all waiting. And I every time I talk to people, I'm just like, are you going to fix that? Is the next thing going to fix this? Because I really want to play Chaos and be like a badass, like Archeon and just destroy people. Yeah. And they're like, we're very much aware. We're very much aware that that's a thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm letting you know. I love the game. But by God, I just... it's me waiting as I'm like, all right, well, I have to put my army on my one unit because I can't take over towns. And I'm like,
mate, I'm there with you. After playing the Vampire Pirates, which was just nothing but fun and violence and drinking. Like, I've got a mobile base. I install pubs in every elven city. How do the elves not realize there's a bunch of undead people in fucking downtown?
I mean, they don't go down there. Elves, they're up in the high towers. They don't ever go downtown.
But I did feel bad because, like, especially early game Chaos, no artillery, like lots of good shock troops, but you're waiting for so long. Whereas Chaos always feel like the raiding faction, like they're meant to be the threat. That's
the point. Is you're supposed to be the raider, and so what it is it's like in the beginning you can raid the different like Nordling factions. And you're running around, and that's fine, because they have nothing, but it's like you're raiding yourself in a way, because all you can do is either take them over, make them one of your, like, thralls or whatever, and then, and that's it. And then go around and then build up your army, but you only have the one army. That's it. And so it's like, come on.
So Marshall Raya is trying to start some nonsense, because I made the mistake last year I was like, you know when that like post-stream 3 a.m. where you're a little like you're overtired and overexcited simultaneously.
Yes, I'm very well aware.
I made a dumb tweet where I said, for every 1 like of this tweet, I will write 1 fact about my vampire counts. And these bastards have been pushing it since then. I still have like 200 facts to write. Well, thank you, Dorcas, for linking that one. So they're trying to start nonsense.
Good. Good. Let them. Pirate crab facts. By the way, the undead pirate dudes, at first I was like, these guys suck. I hate this faction. And then I was like, oh my god, I love this faction.
Right?
That's how I feel about everything I play, except for the, the tomb princes, tomb lords, the whatever the hell they're called. The Egyptian dudes.
Yeah.
I
haven't
those
started,
guys.
I haven't done them yet.
From moment 1. Oh, they're so good. They're so good.
Alright, so, yes, Total Warhammer is awesome. But the thing I wanted to reference was that, going back to what you were saying about how the symbiotic relationship came between, like, media, content creation, and game creators, the reason that I became aware of you was that I was a fan of your content working within a games company. Like, I wanted to work with you because I'd seen what you did, and I was like, this is a cool guy who likes to play some TW. Let's get him in on a thing. And it wasn't that I was sat down with like Will, we need you to, going through this list, we need you to find the most influential gingers on YouTube. We need a list on my desk.
There's only so many of us, so I mean.
Gingers might lie. But it was like, I was reaching out to you because I knew your content and because I enjoyed it. It wasn't that I was just looking to hit numbers and content. And I think that's how a lot of that initial like direct interaction and crossover started. How has it been dealing with games companies in that direct method? Like, you don't have to name anyone directly. I don't want you to break any NDAs or anything.
That's been how I've almost always, because I'm not like a 40, 50, 90 million subscriber YouTuber, right? So I exist in that like mid tier where we do very, very, very well, but we're not like, you know, millionaires, right? It's a job that I'm successful at, but like, it's still a job. That's where I'm at. And so the vast majority of people who contacted me, devs, games, whatever, contacted me because they're fans or they've watched what I've done.
Yeah.
Very rarely are people coming to me and being like, you have the influence and pull that we're looking for. That's very rarely. Usually it's like, hey, we like your stuff and we really want to work with you because like you liked X game we did before. A great example is I have a long, very cool ongoing relationship with CD Projekt Red. I love those guys.
Yeah.
We've done stuff together forever. And that only started because I think it was either the second or third Let's Play I ever did was Witcher 2, way back when. And I might have been like one of the only people to play Witcher 2 on the internet at the time. Because Witcher, people don't remember this, but Witcher and Witcher 2 were not like huge things.
Oh, yeah. The Witcher 1 got slated.
Yeah,
like,
Witcher 1 wasn't great. Witcher 1, I remember watching my friend Mike play Witcher 1, and it was like, what the hell is this game? But Witcher 2 was like, I had a really fun time playing it. I loved the story. I like, you know, wasn't being the creep who was like boobies. You know, like, you know, I had fun with it. And so they invited me out to do like a press thing for when they did Witcher 2 on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I met everyone and we had like a great time and I went out and hung out with everyone. And I think probably they, like many other devs, saw like, oh, Jesse's not a character. He's like a dude. And so ever since then, for Witcher 3, I went to like, you know, I've always been involved in some way. And I like to think it's because like we're friends, not because they're like, this guy is the guy who's really gonna, you know, there are many other better YouTubers and streamers out there who can get them a bigger chunk of like eyeballs. But I think because we have a relationship and we're like good friends and we treat each other well, that we're not, you know, that I consistently am involved in some way. And like, I value that tremendously. Same thing with, I mean, everything that I do. Like, a great example is I played the game Oxenfree, right?
Yeah.
I loved Oxenfree. I thought that was great. And I when they did an ARG, I championed the hell. I was like, guys, we need to find this stuff. I was really into it. And so I've been friends with those guys ever since, right? They had me host the after party panel at E3. Not because I'm the best host, because I suck at hosting. I'm terrible. I'm a bad host. but it's because we're like friends. And so even if I'm shit, like at least I know like, hey, we probably did something amazing. And so that's kind of the vibe that I go for, is I try to be as friendly and cool as possible, because I get that I'm not that top tier YouTuber that can just be like, pay me $1 billion and I'll talk about your game. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I can't and I wouldn't do that.
I mean, while I'd be happy to see you get $1 billion, I can understand where you're coming from.
You and me both. Is there like a rich prince out there that just wants to like be like, I am your patron now? Because I will take that in a heartbeat.
I've actually said to my lot that if I ever end up somehow with a mystical amount of money, I'm just going to spend it on like a one-shot convention. Fly everyone over, take over a hotel, get wankered for 3 days, and crawl out by my fingertips.
Can I tell you that I have it planned. I have it planned. If I ever won the lottery, or I ever got like a ridiculous amount of money, I know exactly. Half of it immediately would go in the bank. I'd save that for whatever reason. It would just go away. The other half, I would take a fourth of that and give it to like family, friends, whatever, and be like, never ask for money again, right? I would then take another fourth of that and buy like whatever that fourth could buy me of a house, someplace nice.
Yeah.
I'd take the third fourth of that and I'd use it to like invest in videos and make it like my job. And the last fourth of whatever that half was, I'd be like, everyone, we're going to Vegas. I'm going to give you money. You are not allowed to return home on the flight. Like, do not bring clothes. Do not like get on this plane with me. We're going. If you want to buy, like, take this money, buy things. Let's have the craziest effing night ever. Like, let's get wild. And you're not allowed to return with any money in your pocket. I'm going to check you. I'm going to have the flight attendants check you before you get on the plane. No cash. Spend it all. Doesn't matter what. We're going nuts. That's what I would do.
That sounds
I've thought it up.
Did you do the first Minecon? Because I can't remember if you were part of the Minecraft content creation crew.
I had a server, but I was never like huge into Minecraft, to my own detriment. I bet I could have done very, very well if I just pretended to be Simon Lane. I would have done great. I would have been like, oh, diggy hole. People would be like, Simon, is that you? And I'd be like, it's me.
It's a different time now. It's a different time.
Yeah.
More because that Minecon ended up being a little bit like that. Like, there were some stories. Sure. Okay.
I believe that.
So, I guess the third pronged in things I wanted to chat with you about today, and I don't know how much we have your time, and I do want to open the floor up to questions and stuff in a little bit.
Sure.
Because I do this all day, dude. The thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that you've been involved with Monster Prom and with video game development.
Yarp.
How has that experience been, and what do you feel that your grounding in content creation has allowed you to bring into that space?
I think because I think this is the one thing I can offer the space, which I'm very excited to be able to do, is I don't have the talent to make games, but I can produce the shit out of games. And one of the things I realized is that because I play so many games and I'm in the industry space, I know what people are looking for. And I kind of get the vibe of what people are doing. And I also have different perspectives, right? Like I see kind of the matrix code of things. And so for Monster Prom, one of the things I wanted to do was I want a character everyone can like. I want them all to be their own version of wild and crazy, but I want them all to be like something someone can fall in love with. And that's when I told the devs, like, that was the main key. Like, we need to have characters that everyone, no matter who you are, can be like, that's the character for me. And the reason why I think that is not because I'm some genius. It's because I remember playing the Overwatch alpha of Overwatch. And there being so much effing Overwatch porn in the alpha. And I was like, I know this game's going to be a huge success because people are in love with characters they don't even know yet.
Yeah.
But they like think they know them, and they are now making really impressive art and like source filmmaker videos of them banging.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's genuine. Like, that's a love of these characters that is next level.
Oh, actually,
and I was like,
small teeny tiny aside on that subject, one of my friends who professionally does deep dives into communities to assess whether the community needs are being met, actually looks into the smut generated by a project to tell developers and IP holders which game characters aren't being acknowledged, who they should be looking at, and where their user base is lacking, because people are very expressive when it comes to smut.
Yes.
That is someone's job out there on the internet, and they are very good at it. Sorry, please continue. I just wanted to let you know that is a real thing. Yikes.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, people laugh because they're like, oh my God, the game's not even out, and people are making porn of it. But, like, that's a statistic. It's not, like, there's nothing that I'm sitting here like, yeah, it's dirty and hot. What I'm saying is, it is a statistic you can use when going forward. Like, you're like, that's data. Yeah. I'm seeing real-time data of a game that doesn't even exist in, like, the public sphere yet, but people are already being like, I'm fantasizing about that character. And so taking that into, for example, Monster Prom, I was like, okay, people want to fall in love with characters. They want their, like, Lara Croft character, stuff like that, right? And so, because that, from when I was a kid, that's the one I was like, oh, man, those triangle boobs are hot. Like, you know, when I was like 13, it's like, yeah. But everyone wants to fall in love for, like, different reasons, like, to really be like passionate about a character.
Yeah,
and so
Big Pappy's mentioning Gary's, and I do want to take this moment to just, like, compliment Monster Prom in taking that idea and expanding it to so many different people with so many different kinds of tastes. Like, it's not saying, no, you shouldn't find these characters hot. It's saying that we're going to try and make something for everyone. And that's fucking great.
I mean, most of the characters are just not hot, but there's, like, something about them that people find very attractive. Like, they're monsters. They're not supposed to be, like, hot. I mean, obviously, Polly is the hottest one, but, like, you know, there's all these different characters that you can, like, sort of fall in love with. It's the personalities that are great. But what I think the thing that we did that I really, really love is that one of the things we did right from the get-go was, before the game launched, I was like, we need to hit the internet with fan art. So we, like, sent the games to artists. We sent the game to, like, different artists. We had different friends that we knew draw fan. Like, literally, we flooded the internet in the first week with fan art. And then other people were like, oh my God, this game's great. They started making their own fan art, and it just built. And because people are like, look at all this amazing art of all these sexy characters, they're like, I want to see this game now. It has nothing to do with, like, whether people are relating to these characters before they play the game even, right? Yeah. They're into this world and they don't even know anything about the world. And that's that Overwatch effect that I like. If I can repeat that with every game I ever am involved with, that'll be the dream. Because that's what it's about. It's about getting people to passionately react to your game before even playing it. That's the key. At least for me. That's what I keep trying to do for everything I work on.
No, and that's exceptional. I would say with Monster Prom, you've hit that. And Monster Camp is the one that's coming, right?
Yeah, there's Monster Prom 2, which has Monster Camp, and there's a Monster Road Trip, and it's like, it's 3 games in one, maybe 4. And then there's Monster Prom Reverse, which is you can play as the dateable characters trying to date the playable characters.
Okay. And
so that's coming as well.
I guess I did want to touch on that. You know, what you're aiming to do is something that I personally support, is looking to create titles that you can form an emotional connection with. And that's feckin' rad. Not really anything clever or articulate to add on to that one.
No, well, I mean, here's the thing is going back to the Overwatch thing for a minute. It isn't that, like, people are like, oh, Tracer or Widowmaker is hot. It's that for some reason, like every one of them, Tracer had a personality. Yeah. Widowmaker was like the sexy femme fatale, right? Mercy was like, I'm the doctor, I'll take it. Like, it fit every single possible turn on a person could have, be it intellectually, be it physically, be it whatever. It was there for them, right? It was there. They had more than just, like, a butt. And so, because that's I mean, at the end of the day, there are many attractive video game characters, but y'all ain't out there, like, making, to this day, still ludicrous sums of porn about them, right? It's because there's an emotional connection to them as well.
I'm looking at you, triggers all of the launch original Xbox titles. Oh, what was it? Primeval? Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. Like, whoa, my God, what was that? What was that vampire woman with the red hair way back when?
Oh, they did a UA Bowl film about. She had like the wrist
Yes.
stabby blades.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain.
Yeah,
But
like
the rain
I
was spelled
remember
wrong.
when she was like there was a Blood Rain Playboy issue, right? But no one gave a crap because she was not a fully fleshed out character. She was an attractive redhead who killed people and was a vampire.
Killed Nazis.
It's like
Nazis.
yeah, you're right, killed Nazis. It reminds me of, I don't remember who made the video, but it's fascinating. Someone went to, it might have been Disneyland or somewhere, and they asked people, they said, tell me everything you can about Han Solo. Handed over the microphone, and they just like, people were like, oh, he's a rogue, and he does this, and they just like kept going into about his character. He's like, oh, you don't know if you can trust him, all this stuff. And they're like, okay, tell me about Obi-Wan Kenobi. I hand it over, and they tell him about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, he's wise, this. And then they go, okay, tell me about Qui-Gon Jinn. And they'd be like, he's a Jedi, and he's Obi-Wan's mentor, and he dies. Like, and you realize that Qui-Gon, cool character, great actor, not really a character.
Control
right?
bingo.
Like yeah, and it's the same thing with video games. In order to get people to fall in love with your character and keep the game going, right? They need to have more than just like superficial looks or like, I'm the main character and I'm going on a mission to get the baddies who ruined me, right? Like,
What is
more
EA's
to
next
it.
title? Sorry.
Yeah, I am the hero character and I'm getting the bad guys, like the next EA game.
Well then,
yeah,
let me add something to that. So from the characters you created, or well, the characters as they were created, not saying that Monster Prom was you entirely solo. But
it super was not. The devs did 99% of the work.
Absolutely.
I just threw money at stuff.
Yeah.
It was, they're the geniuses. Much like everything I do in life, I find amazing people and I'm like, go to work. Here, just take this money and make magic. And it somehow works because I find good people. That's my one true thing that I can do is find amazing talent. Like the animations we do for Cox and Krendor, I don't tell him what to do at all, and he makes the funniest damn things I've ever seen in the world.
So what I wanted
I keep hands off.
Oh, sorry, here's me being all caffeinated and excitable.
Sure.
What I wanted to ask is, could you say one thing that your team adds to each character from Monster Prom? Not for an example. So you have a character design. You have Wolfman. How do you make him more than just Wolfman?
So our lead dev, Julian, is a mad genius, and I believe, truly, almost all the characters are people he knows in real life. He is like a Spanish... I think he is like the modern-day Don Quixote. He's crazy. I love him to death. He's truly a genius, and so I truly believe every character is a person he knows, but like he doesn't want to say because it's kind of like tropey. Like he knows the big dumb idiot. He knows the like party girl who's like, I died, I think. Like he knows the woman who like is obsessed with money. Like those are people in his life. Convinced of it. Because when a great example is when we talk about the characters, he like knows details that aren't in the game, like what their shoes are, like things like that, which are just like he knows in his head what things are. And I'm like, I can't fight you, my dude. You clearly get it.
Yep. Just jumping into chat real quickly, Big Puppy is literally downloading Unity for the first time, so this could be the birth of a game creator.
If I can make shitty games, you can too. I believe it. I once had a series on YouTube called If Jesse Can Do It, You Can Too. So literally, if I can do anything, you can. Trust me.
That's fucking rad. Also, just as a quick little aside, if you manage to come down to Seattle, there are a ton of people I need to introduce you to, including Maniacal Panda and Baron Sheep, are excellent humans who I would love to introduce you to at some point.
Great. Done. Easy. Happening.
So
I'll be at PAX West next year for sure.
All right. Well, let me
a long way off, but
you.
I will be there for sure. Yeah.
I know what your schedule gets like for PAXs.
Well, I'm not doing normal PAX stuff next year, so I'll be there, but I won't like be there. We'll talk later.
That's a thing with a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess the thing to discuss is
The thing to discuss. The thing? What? I'm
All right.
worried. But
No,
continue.
because this is one of those things whereby there's no right answer, and if anyone genuinely knew this, they would keep it to themselves and make a shit ton of money. But where we are right now, like, games media is still hanging on, but using the kind of like the ad revenue funded model. Content creation market is shaky, but mostly because, you know, if YouTube changes its algorithm on a Wednesday, it can feck up everyone's day on a Thursday. You know, YouTube no longer has its, you know, internal YouTube gaming team as much as it once did. It's no longer making those pushes. And video games are at a point whereby we've never had more access to release and create, but there's also never been more competition. There's never been more more fighting for kind of like a little piece of the gaming consciousness. So where do you see content creation's role in that going in 2 years and 5 years? Where do you see us in the future, mate? Time travel!
Well, I already have, earlier today, I had a discussion about YouTube content creation. I feel like YouTube is moving away from multi-anything. Like, if you're making YouTube videos, it's one-off things now. It's like, here's my review of this thing. There are no more in-depth things. There are very few people that can make money doing Let's Plays. I gave a great example. I went back through all the things I did that were a series of anything, right?
Okay.
Over the last month. A great example is Control. I love that game. It's super fun. I did a Scary Game Squad episode for Man of Medan, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, episode 1. And I think I remember the Control numbers. Episode 1 was like 131,000 views. Episode 2, 60-something thousand. Episode 3, and like exponentially decreases the more episodes you put out. Same with Scary Game Squad, which is like a very popular thing. Man of Medan, first episode was like 191,000. Next episode was like 100,000. Next episode was like 50. Like, it drops by half every time. And the problem is that YouTube's algorithm, the way it works is the more you upload more frequently, the less it sends out to subscribers, because it's like, oh, you're spamming them.
So it's interesting because as a platform, it doesn't incentivize creating these long forms. Even as a viewer, if there is a series that I'm a fan of, it's so hard to keep up with it because YouTube will just not tell me.
Well, and that's and to chat, Heat Purple said it's personal. It's like the for me, yes, your interaction with me about how I do longer episodes, I get that. I get that you can only put in so much time. But I'm not a fluke. Across the board, unless you're doing like unless you're either a Game Grump or a Markiplier, unless you're like a big name where you have an audience retention that doesn't matter what you play, they'll always watch. The vast, like 80 to 90% of people on the internet, that is the way it works. Is the first episode's always the biggest and it always declines. That's just mathematically, algorithmically what happens every time. And the problem is, going back to what we said at the very beginning of this conversation about the internet and Google, if I'm trying to play the algorithm where like I want videos sent to people, it might take me 2 weeks to beat Control, or like to put up all the Control episodes, because I want people to see them. But by that point, I've screwed myself because we're now 2 weeks in and YouTube doesn't value Control anymore, so it doesn't send it to people anyway. And then what ends up happening is like, now I'm screwed myself. So a great example, again, going back to Control, episode 1, 131,000, episode 20 or whatever the last episode was, 18,000.
Yeah.
Right? Going back, like and that's just what happens. It's diminishing returns, which is why I don't think it's very good. But also on the flip side, I could just come on Twitch, stream the whole game in like 2 days, be done with it, and I've already beat Jesse by 12 days.
Yep.
So what's the point? Why did Jesse just waste his time? If I was internet guy, I'd be like, well, that's stupid. And it's true. It is stupid to do that. And so I think from now on, if I'm going to upload any Let's Plays, I'm just going to put them all out on the same day, like Netflix, and be like, if you want to watch them, great. I don't care.
Hard binge.
That's the only way to do it now, because it doesn't make any sense. But the amount of time invested, for every time I upload a video, like a series, that's recording, editing the audio into it, rendering, uploading, processing.
Yep.
Or I could just flip on OBS or whatever and just play a game.
I will admit, not having
It's
to deal
so
with the
much
words
easier.
rendering or processing in my day-to-day is a fecking joy. Dude, like, if YouTube decides that it doesn't want to handle a particular file, do you know what I do? It's alright, I did it on Twitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just me having horror flashbacks from trying to get a video up for a date because there's a social media post going out and the upload's fecking up and the processing's not working. Sorry, that was a will tangent.
It's just like a sucky thing. And Vice City, just a spam post that's gonna be horrible for sub feed. The problem is the YouTube sub feed doesn't send subs to people. Like, it might in theory be horrible if all 900 some thousand people were getting the sub notification, but like in reality maybe 30,000 do.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. So it's like, I'm not even worried. I can care less. I'm like, whatever.
What I will say to Mutha Kamari again is that what we're discussing here is not necessarily from a viewer's point, but just how that ecosystem works and how they all lock into each other. Like, I'm same as you. Like, Let's Plays that are chopped up are great for me because, I try and watch as much of my friends' content as I can, and I'm only one man. So having it sectioned like that is great because seeing live stuff. But
Stop that incessant clicking.
Maniacal
Damn.
just chucked out another 5 subs. You fucking legends. And I will be
That's great.
thanking everyone who has followed, subbed, and otherwise. I'll be thanking you all at the end of the show. But yeah, sorry. So when we're discussing this, we're discussing just how this ecosystem works and how that affects the individuals who work in those spaces and the games that they talk about. Now, all right, you can all reset the counter because I'm about to reference Movies with Mikey. Yeah, it has been X number of days since Will has referenced Movies with Mikey. But the way that show works is that it uses external funding to maintain. Movies with Mikey is funded by Patreon. So it's not as heavily reliant on YouTube ad revenue. It is reliant on direct user engagement, which is its own kettle of monkeys. But it is also interesting seeing how Movies with Mikey, how even though the Patreon is going up, how the number of views per video is going down. And that is, in my mind, YouTube's algorithm. Because a show that continues to produce on time with an increase in quality should see an increase in viewership.
Well, this is the inherent problem with all of it. One of the things I think is crazy is the Kind of Funny Guys or all those different shows. In theory, you hear about them so much and you think like, oh my God, these guys must be world famous. Their VOD views and stuff like that, like not a lot of people are watching those.
Yeah.
You're like, well, why is that? How's that? Their Patreon is getting like $1 majillion. Like, how can the translation, like, it doesn't make sense that one's making a lot and one's like, it's just because it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, on YouTube, there are algorithms that check and see if you swore. And if you swear, they're sending it to less people. There are algorithms to check and see if the game or whatever you're doing is violent. Less people. There are algorithms to check and see when you upload it. And, oh, well, this is for this type of person. So send it to only them. Everything is an algorithm. And what it does is it diminishes your audience. But what it also does is it increases anything that is negative. And so a lot of people complain about how YouTube is very like a negative place right now. That's only because YouTube's algorithm, because it's all math, it looks at time watched and interactivity. So if you make a video that is 20 minutes of you ranting about how, let's go with the easy one, how The Last Jedi is the worst movie ever. There are people on both sides of that issue who want to talk about it. So they're going to go to your chat and fight about it. And in the background, your video is going to play every single time. And so when they go back there because some guy left a snarky comment, video plays again. And the interaction keeps happening, even if you like get negative interactions. Like, it's an interaction. And so now your video is being like propped up and everyone else sees like, oh my God, that's so easy. And they jump in on it. The greatest example, I will always say this example to people. I did, after the Game of Thrones episode where like the White Walkers finally showed up and attacked. I made a prediction video for a Fan Friday video the weekend before.
Yeah.
And then the day after, I made a video that was like, well, I was totally wrong, but here's what I think was bad about that, right?
Yeah.
That was like a free 400,000 person video. It exploded. People were just like, they're like, yeah, fuck it. They were so mad.
Yeah.
That video, I had conversations with people at YouTube. They're like, you should do more stuff like, because it really improved your channel's people, like you made a lot of money from that. Like it was great. You should do more. I was like, that's not who I am. I'm not like an angry dude making like outrage videos. I don't want to be that person. And they're like, well, it would help you. I'm like, what? And that's what it is. People now, like a great example is because I'm still, and well, maybe we'll see what happens with this Blizzard stuff. But because I've been a huge member of the WoW community for so long, I see the trend going from here's WoW news videos to here's my opinion on why WoW sucks today. And most of the videos are like people angry, like this expansion's garbage and this thing they did is garbage. And there's like, where's the people that are like, I really enjoyed this one part. I thought that it doesn't exist anymore because those don't get views because only angry stuff gets views.
Yeah.
And so it's either you are a very popular person, you were always popular, and so they funnel to you automatically because you have a ludicrous number of subscribers, or you're growing because you've tapped into that market of like, I'm so mad and I need someone who's just as mad as me. I want my opinion validated.
Yeah. And
sucks.
It seems to reach a whole bunch of stuff. Very quickly, so we will be opening up the floor to questions proper in a little bit. Heat Purple was saying, how much does the algorithm/Patreon factor into your ability to sustain and keep growth? From what I've seen, if you go the Patreon method, you have to reach outside of YouTube's algorithm or Twitch's algorithm for sustainability there. Because you always see diminishing returns on a user base over time. That's not a bad thing on people, that's everything. You know, you could be the biggest fan of something, but after 10 years, you won't be checking it every day. After 20 years, you won't be checking it every day.
Right.
So you have to reach outside of that. It is interesting what you're saying about the WoW community, which is that there's a lot of content that was generated in the early YouTube days that was like, yo, we love World of Warcraft and this is dope. And if you'll excuse me a second, I do want to say, because Butthurt Gamer, God, I love reading out some of these names, was pointing out like Angry Video Game Nerd, Angry Joe, Irate Gamer. I do want to say, both the Angry Video Game Nerd and Angry Joe are lovely folks. And
yeah, well, here's the thing. They are playing characters.
Yeah.
Like, they're, in real life, genuine, wonderful people. They're playing characters. The problem is, currently, people aren't playing characters. They're just, like, pissed off people.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, Angry Video Game Nerd is like a bit. Like, that's him playing a bit. Like, Angry Joe is him, that's his review style, right? Like, I don't see that happening now. Now I see people who are just like genuinely trying to get people angry, and that's their real true opinion. Or they're just very cynical and doing it because they know it sells, and they're actually like, I don't believe any of that. Which is, I think, worse, but whatever.
It's also very, very telling because again, Joe, much like yourself, was someone I was a big fan of, and I got a chance to hang out with him a couple of times. And I wouldn't assume familiarity as much to call him a friend, but I'm glad that I got to hang with him. And one of the things that I really liked is that Joe goes real into a game. And he is unapologetically like full-on fan. If he loves a game, he will go right into the nuts and bolts and tell you why. If a game infuriates him or is bad, he will do it. I've worked with him in the past, and he's always been a fucking ledge. But his videos where he's like, this game is an exceptional gem, and I'm going to tell you as a fan why
they
you
don't
should
do
like
as
it.
good.
They do like trash. That fucking Aliens Colonial Marines video. Oh boy.
No one wants to see an angry dude be a happy dude. Like,
YouTube,
they don't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
YouTube will still recommend me that video, even though I have seen it, and I'm a subscriber to Joe's. Like, what? YouTube, where you at?
it's all
Oh,
weird.
sorry.
Like, it's people that don't use YouTube creating math to run YouTube.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's truly what it is. Like, the people who are in the top levels of YouTube are like old Hollywood execs.
Mhm.
You're like, why are you here? Like, why did YouTube bring you on? Why isn't there like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is what I also think is funny. All the YouTube people are trying to branch off from YouTube into Hollywood.
Ugh, don't go there. Hollywood's a silly place. We don't go there.
Agreed. But it's just weird that that's the case. It's so bizarre to me that everyone on YouTube's like, we're different. We don't want to be like that. But secretly, they're like, I could just make a movie or something. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a, look, I said this before. I tweeted it out today. The internet is a lie, y'all. It's all a lie. Everything social media is curated truth. It's curated reality. It's fake.
Oh, dude.
YouTube, bullshit. It's all fake. It makes me so mad when people like get upset because they see like someone leading a perfect, better life. And I'm like, they took 85 photos to get that one photo that made them look good.
Mhm.
Don't believe this shit. So let me reiterate on Mental Health Day. Don't fall for it.
No. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And like, for all those people you see who appear to be, you know, being in shape, doing all good, perfect relationship, perfect house, I assure you, they are having a bad time on the inside like the rest of us.
Let me tell you, here's how I know. Every so often I'm truly reminded how fake the internet is. There was a couple that I don't know if I followed them, but I was in like their social sphere, so I'd always see their tweets. And they'd always just be like, love you, boo. Like, oh, my husband, I love him so much. Straight up got divorced. And I was like, and then in the thing where they got divorced, they were like, for the last year, it's been real tough for us. And I'm like, wait a minute. Over the last year, you motherfuckers been like, I love you, sweet pea. You're my favorite. I'm like, you liars. And that's how I view the internet, where I'm like, everyone posts the best version of themselves. But in reality, it's all just like, how do I make myself? It's like, you know what it is? It's like going back to a high school reunion.
Oh,
You're there for one
every
night.
day.
Yeah, you're there for one night, but you're like, how do I be the best version to make all these assholes like jealous they didn't date me in high school? Like, that's kind of what it's like, except it's your life.
Yeah.
And you do it all the time. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. That's too much work. When I go out with friends, sometimes I go out with friends and they like, everything is a photo. Everything is like, I got to pose. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Guys, I simply can't do this.
I mean, I have the advantage because no one expects me to be perfect, so I just post photos of me being drunk as a skunk, me being hungover, me looking like crap and ass. I do have that advantage, but like, you know, no one's expecting anything from me, but that's what I try and do. So, friendos, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to open the floor up to questions. I will be very choosy, so cook a good one. If you want to @Viking Blonde in chat so I can see him, because there are a lot of you. And Caffeine is like on the quick draw, so I assume he was ready, saying, a fun part of the question for Jesse. What is the most memorable moments of your career thus far? What is the one that stands out?
I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of amazing, done a lot of things where I've been like really blessed to be a part of. The one that stands out to me the most is it's amazing for the wrong reasons. So when I first started YouTube, when I first started YouTube, it was kind of like, what the hell am I doing? I'm just trying to make a buck on this thing. And you didn't make any money.
Yeah.
But not long after, because YouTube exploded, I was there for that initial boom.
Yeah.
I remember that I had enough money to finally move to LA. So I moved to LA and I was like so excited to be here. And I started getting invited to parties. And I remember it was when the Yogscast hit their 1 billion view party. This was like 2012, maybe.
Bloody hell, fucking hell. That's a flashback.
Yeah. I just want to let you know, I remember when I had more subscribers and views than the Yogscast, then I watched them fly by me. I was like, bye. Oh, good luck.
See you later.
But that's the story of my life. I remember seeing people amazing go right by. I'm like, oh, okay, bye. But I went to their party, and it was hosted by Maker Studios, because I guess we were all with Maker at the time.
Oh man,
This was
there's a fucking name. Yeah, pour it all out for the fallen.
This was one of those. This was one of those things that it was the first time I realized that we were in Hollywood and everything was like Hollywood. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
And so it was a party for a YouTube channel getting 1 billion views on top of a hotel in like the hotel roof swimming pool area.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but Simon Lane and I, for most of our life, have looked very similar to each other. And so at this party, it was like straight up there were people there that I don't know who these people were, but they were like industry executives and like everyone was like talking each other up and like, oh, everyone's full of their own, like, and no one's shit stank that day. Everyone was like full of themselves. And I felt so awkward. I was like in a hoodie and I was like, this is weird. And while that was going on, they had like a bunch of like very attractive women in like skimpy outfits serving food and drinks. Again, a weird thing to have. But I'll never forget that apparently people were told what Simon and Lewis looked like. And while Lewis was at the party, Simon could not attend. So all of the people there thought I was Simon. And so I've never had my ass kissed by so many people in my life. Everyone and their brother was coming to me to the point where as the night went on, the various women like skimpy outfits, this one woman all night was like on me. And she was like literally trying to get married. She was like, I'll treat you right. And like, I'm like, what? And my friends were like, dude, just play along. And I was like, all right. So like I went in on this. It was just like trying to see how far she would go. And I'd be like, well, you know, I have like really terrible farts. Like I can't, when I go to sleep, I just like, it's bad. Like, could you live with that? And she's like, I'll take care. I'll make sure your stomach is feeling nice and good. And I'm like, yeah, oh man, I got like real bad problems. And I have like ear fungus. Is that a thing? Like I would just really try to like make, it was the most fun I've had ever. She was like so in, and I was like, this poor woman thinks I'm a millionaire, and I am definitely not. I was like, it was hilarious. And all night people were just like, where's Jesse? And like she was just following me around, like really trying to get in there. And I was like, I have to make the best of this. And I just gave her the hardest time. I felt so bad for, like, I don't think she ever truly knew. I think to this day she thinks Simon Lane is like the grossest human being that ever lived.
He's got some horrible, like, you know, 14th nipple ear infection.
Yes. It just the worst things I could think of. It was, oh man. It was incredible. No, she was like a beautiful model. Like if I wasn't a piece of crap, I would have been like, hello, I'm actually Jesse Cox. But I was afraid she would never talk to me again. So I was like, yeah, that's right, I'm Simon Lane. that was a weird night. I'll never forget that. That was the first time I experienced one, a Hollywood party. I experienced two, like what people will do for money. And I also experienced like, oh my God, this whole town's like fake as shit. Like it all came together. I've always been that guy who when I go on sets or I go do anything, I always relate way more to like the camera guy than I do the other actors. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I think I like can talk to that guy more than I can talk to you about like the Stella Adler technique or whatever the hell we're gonna like. There's just, I don't know.
Well,
I will always remember that. That shit was hilarious.
Mate, games industry over film industry any day. So Tarlicus, my good buddy, had a question for you, which was, how did you feel at the end of the Good Games series?
I was really excited. We had Good Games Season 2 already planned out. We were really excited to do that. But YouTube was like, we've decided to take everything in a new direction. And they decided they wanted to make less like serialized content and more like Fantasy Island stuff. Like basically the problem was we created a show that was more actors than YouTubers, and YouTube was like, we need more YouTubers than actors in our shows. Okay. And we were like, what? And that sucked. They were like, sorry, no second season. I think cost was very high. Like we put a lot of money into the show. And so we tried very, very hard, but we had a second season all written out. And for all of you who are like, what happened to Jesse's character at the end? I will simply say that if you've seen The Dark Knight Rises, my character would have awoken in season 2 in a cave, and I would have had to climb out of the cave.
That's fucking
the
great.
game, the subplot. I'm not going to tell you the main story, but the subplot would have been that I was in this cave and I had to climb out of the cave, and the game itself was being, like loot boxes and like all the terrible things people hate were being put into the game, and all the players would be like, "What the hell? This sucks." And so I would hear that my game, basically I was in a cave and there was a TV playing all this like gaming footage of people hating on my game, and I'd be like, "No!" And so I climb out of the cave and I would go confront the board of directors for the company that I own. And the board of directors would have been all these famous like e-celebrities. Like I wanted to have Felicia Day and Will Wheaton and like Adam Sessler, like all of them be the board of directors who were like ruining this game. And I thought that would have been really fun.
That was
like a really
freaking
silly.
rad.
Yeah.
Well,
that would have been that little plot thing, but whatever. That's never happening. So
Well, Muth and people are saying that to get a comic book made of it, not a bad idea. So I got 2 questions, one silly one serious one.
Sure.
Heed Purple asked this a couple times, but wanted to say, please ask Jesse very quickly about his fear of sharks.
Sharks are godless killing machines, and I've seen Jaws 3, the documentary Jaws 3, so I know that they are in fact pure evil, and they know the concept of revenge.
So follow-up question, how are you so right about sharks? Because I don't think you could be more right about sharks.
I know
terrifying.
I'm right. I've watched every shark documentary ever. Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws 4. I've seen them all. I've seen all the shark documentaries. They are absolutely true. And just because I have friends who work in the pro-shark agenda aquarium industry,
Yes!
I will not fall for it. I will not fall for it. I know what sharks are capable of. Godless killing machines.
So I will put my hand up and say, because I'm an idiot, I did agree that if I get this channel partnered, I will play Raft, and I will scream and cry. Although I will say, have you done Subnautica yet?
Nope.
Even though it was one of the worst, most terrifying experiences of my life, the game is so good, it is actually worth going through.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, honestly, I said
No,
the same
good.
thing, and it's brilliant. But that's not the story. Now, Vinicus has an Vinifiticus. God, you guys with your Latin names had a really interesting question that I'd like to put forward to you, which was, what was the driving force behind putting together CoxCon? And
CoxCon, there was years ago a convention that it doesn't matter the name now, but it was a convention that was in Nottingham, and I went. It was like a 500-person convention. It was very small. It was the very first overseas convention I'd ever gone to. It was myself and my dear friend Dodger, and we went and had like it was like myself, Dodger, Tomska, like a few. It was crazy. It was so much fun.
wait, you know Tom?
Yeah, he was at CoxCon this year.
No way. How's he doing?
Yeah. Amazing.
I used to.
Still
Sorry.
funny as ever.
Tiny side, I just, when I used to do MCM, I'd see him, because he always had a stand, and like in that bit before they open the doors, I'd just go over and be like, Tom, and be like, yo. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
He's incredible. He's
Right.
genuinely awesome. Too funny for his own good. Anyway, so yeah, we went to this convention, and like it was in a hotel. There was a bar that I was just drinking the entire time, and I played D&D, and it was the very first time I ever played D&D with like friends. Here, like since it was 2012, I think it was the very first overseas convention. It was right when I started like getting into YouTube full time, and I loved it. And the next year they're like, we're gonna go bigger and better, and I was like, all right. And at that time, I was dating a girl who lived in London, and I like the whole thing was like perfect. I was like, oh my god, yes, of course I want to go back. And so I really heavily promoted it. They were like, we're gonna do twice the number of people. It's gonna be crazy. At a certain point, the dude just dropped off the face of the earth, and then like I guess took the money and ran. I have no idea what happened.
Oh.
The con got canceled, and I felt terrible because I really helped like promote it. And so I was gonna be in London anyway, and I was like, all right, let's do a convention, or not a convention, like a meetup at the Konami Fun Center in London. Or maybe whatever it's called, Bandai. I think it's Konami Fun Center. Maybe it's
yeah,
Bandai
it's something like that.
Whatever.
For those of you that don't know, it's like a Dave and Buster's style arcade in central London, which is owned and maintained by Bandai Namco.
Yeah, it's maybe the Namco Fun Center. Is that what it's called?
I think it's
Whatever
like
the Fun Center is. So So I went there and was like, okay, I want to rent out the fun center for one night. And they're like, all right. And then I was like, if you have a ticket to this convention, come to London. You can get into this thing for free. Let's get crazy. And like 600 people showed up. It was wild. And, we had this great time. I didn't get to do anything because I just sat in a corner like signing stuff all night. But I hope people had fun. And so I did that. And then after it was over, the people that were on the Minecraft server that I ran, who are just the best people on earth, I was like, y'all, is this something we can do? Like every year? And they were like, yes. And the next year they busted their asses and made CoxCon, and it's been a thing ever since.
Way cool.
That's how it started, yeah.
So jumping back into chat, I'm gonna articulate. So okay, got another one, a fun one and a serious one. So Treno just wanted to say, Jesse, you have done so much to help your fans. Have we been able to help you?
I mean, you are paying for my life. So literally, yes, we're doing great. The reason why I help so much is because I consistently feel like I'm undeserving of all the success I have, because I consistently I was a teacher. I remember being $50,000 in student debt and like having credit card bills and I remember having nothing. Like when I lost my teaching job, I had my computer and some clothes and I had to move back in with my parents in like my late 20s. That sucks. So I think I have perspective on the fact that like I'm very grateful that this is my job. So I'm constantly trying to give back. Like if anyone's willing to wait in line for me to sign a thing, I'm willing to stand around and sign it. Like that, it's that easy.
Yeah.
I have no problem answering emails. Like I'm A-okay with making people happy. So it's not a problem for me at all.
Way cool.
Thank you.
So D. Baker, we're gonna get to yours in a second. But
D. Bradley Baker?
Yeah.
Famed voice actor?
I believe the one same.
I believe that. It is now.
But I want to articulate on Sneak Dog's question, which was saying, hey, Jesse, how did you get the idea of employing people? Seems a big step to go from solo to editor. So what I wanted to articulate on was, what was the point where you realized you needed to start hiring people? Because that's a big step.
Sure. So I've had most 90%. Well, no. All right. God, when would this be? For most of 2010, 11, 12, 13, maybe into 14. I don't truly remember. I didn't have an editor. Maybe 2013.
Yeah.
I didn't have an editor. I was just me. I was just making my videos on my own. And at a certain point, I had to produce so many videos that I was like, I can't do this by myself. So I found a very nice gentleman named David, who to this day we're still very good friends, and he worked for me as an editor, and he would edit things like multiplayer mayhem, like the original multiplayer mayhems, things like that, things that were a little too much for me to edit on my own, as I'm trying to do let's play edits as well.
Yeah.
And so he would do that, and for a long time we were together, and then he was like, look, I got I'm getting married, I got all that stuff. So he left to go work. Now he works for like a big time company, and he puts on one of the biggest streams of the year. Like he's the guy responsible for that. I'm not gonna put him on blast. David, we love you. You're out there somewhere, but he is amazing. And what ends up happening is after that, it became like, okay, well, if I can hire one, I can get a new editor. So I got a new editor. His name was Tucker. He was lovely. I'm not going to go through all their names. That's so weird. But like, he was very nice. And then he too was like, all right, I'm going to go pursue my passion of literally hanging out with beautiful women and swimming with dolphins. That's like his job now. And I'm like, you've made the right choice, my dude. Go forth.
Are
and
the
ever since then
dolphins
I've had-
beautiful? That's the real question.
You damn well know they are. And so they protect us from sharks, obviously.
They really do.
I've seen Flipper. And so after that, I had series of editors. Because it was like, oh, I need someone to take over this job. Then I hired on an assistant to help with the other part of the job, right? Because if I'm spending every day recording and doing one thing, and how am I supposed to do the business end, right? There's a business side, contracts and meetings and planning and calendars and scheduling. It's tough. As you know, from my, like, I don't know what's even going on in my own life some days. And
Big
so
mood,
I
big
originally
mood,
had,
friend.
yeah, I originally had a assistant who was she was so nice, but she and her husband moved. I had another assistant that was also a sweetheart. And then eventually we come to Kristen, who's been working with me for like 4 years now.
Shout out to Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen's great. She's not here right now, so I can say whatever I want. But that's the only time I'll say she's great is when she's not around.
Oh yeah.
But
games industry rules. Everyone's equal in the circle of abuse.
yeah. And then in the last, year, what ended up happening is I'm moving more away from Let's Play stuff and moving more to streaming and doing more projects, because shows like the Gentleman's Gaming Club and some of the other stuff I'm working on, because it takes time to make those episodes, I had to hire on a second editor. So currently my team is myself, Kristen, my editors, Zach and Mari, who are working on all the different projects we have, and then my animator, Dan, who's now a full-time employee. And it's all literally thanks to Patreon. Patreon money goes to paying their salaries. So that's, I know a lot of people are just like, oh, well, you just use that Patreon money to like buy blow and whatever. Like, no, I don't make most of the money I make goes back into the business, or it goes to paying the employees. Because in my mind, it's like, okay, let's try something new. Let's really create something that's good, that has a chance of blowing up in the future and probably becoming successful. If it doesn't, well, I tried, right? So I'm not like, I'll never be that millionaire guy, but I thankfully am doing very, very well that I can like afford to have a business.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm working on, really.
That's a real gem. Now, a couple of people, Debreaker and Muth, were also asking, supposedly you have teased or discussed an FMV game, and they are very hungry. Is there anything you can share with us? And please feel free if you can't, but there are a lot of asks about that.
Yeah, we're gonna make an FMV horror game.
Ooh.
My stream on my end's get like a little stuttery, so hopefully I'm not terrible for you.
Oh no, you sound great.
Great, cool. Yeah, my camera's like flickering, but it's an FMV horror game, and I will simply say that I can tell you nothing more about it because it would all be spoils. Just be aware that that's coming down the pipeline, and we're really excited about it. So, but don't expect it anytime soon. We're literally in the writing stages, so like, it's a whiles off.
No worries. So, friendos, if you've got any other kind of quick fiery questions, throw them in now. So, Jesse, as I said, like I booked you in for a couple hours. I don't know how much more of your time that we can command.
Well, I'm being harassed by a phone call that I think I probably have to return, but that's fine. It shouldn't be too big. At some point, I have to answer that, but I'm fine.
Because we can
answer a few more questions for sure.
As a fellow ginger, I will talk ad infinitum, and especially chatting. I do like though that the best way to catch up with industry friendos now is to invite them on my show. Like,
trick them into interviews. It's the best way.
Yeah,
it always works. Yeah.
Because it turns out that while it is great rolling for a games company, as soon as you start doing it for yourself, which is wonderful, you are always working.
Yes.
And I'm not telling you that like you wouldn't know, but to the rest of the world, doing this full time is full time.
I believe that.
Oh, so Warus has, this isn't a quick question, but it's a good one. From your perspective, are there anything that game devs can do to improve inclusivity and equality in games?
Answer yes. If I had all the answers on this one, I would be a millionaire because I could go around telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I think step one involves hiring people of differing backgrounds, because then you can have more people that are willing to tell you how to be more inclusive and show you how to do that, because obviously the answer is yes. Do I have the answer of how? Clearly not. But I think
Who wants to sing?
I don't know. I guess I truly have no clue.
Yeah.
But I know that it's very obvious that it's clearly an issue. But I think that having a wider, more diverse amount of people on your, writing team or your game design team, like, it opens up a world to you as a creator that is something that you'll get ideas. I've always been a fan of, like, putting people in positions around you that are better at their job than you could ever be. And it doesn't matter who that person is, the best person, I'm like, let's get this. And I think having a wide variety of ideas and opinions and surrounding yourself with that only equals a better product at the end. I've always thought that. So that's like, it just seems like an obvious thing for me, which is why I never truly thought about, like, I'm not one of those people who's like, here's my solution. Because I've just been like, it seems like a pretty simple one.
Yeah.
But maybe I could be wrong. Clearly it's an endemic problem or systemic or whatever it is. It's a problem. So it feels like something that, I just don't have the answer to.
Yeah. I mean, I could get into that one, but that's another hour conversation.
Sure.
Continuing the quickfire, DeBaker, what's your favorite color?
Oh, either red or black. I'm very, like, Sithy in my life.
Nice. Who is the best waifu?
Oh, God. The best waifu? That little lady right there.
Ori?
Jury's the best waifu. Any waifu that can kick the shit out of me is the best waifu.
That is a big mood. Lucky Peter, will you continue the lore-heavy gameplays of Deus Ex and Control?
I mean, Control more's coming. We beat the game, so like a wrap-up fun, let's go back and do all the things we need to do kind of thing. Yeah, sure.
Sadlin is trying to get me to reference a meme from our lot, which was, we did XCOM 2 last year. Anyone who subbed got a character, and because there was so many coming through, I accidentally let slip Mike Cox, who came through as a comedy character. And he ended up being the fucking linchpin. People died trying to save him. Like,
sounds about right.
And so the constant references to Mike Cox have been ridiculous, and they've been trying to get me to bring it up all day. Chrono asks, best kind of cookies?
Here's the thing. Chocolate chip is always a classic, but sometimes I just like a good oatmeal raisin. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay. Maniacal has a question which is a little more than a quick fire, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, which is, where do you rank sound design when it comes to creating games?
Can you repeat that question? We had a little drop. Something about sound design?
I apologize. Where do you rank sound design as a discipline in games?
Oh, like way up there. Sound design is, in my mind, if you're gonna have voice actors, they have to be amazing. If you're gonna have like crazy sound effects, it's just like in the movies. The music or the way you tell the story of the scene auditorily is half of the scene, right? If you have like an amazing scene but the background's like blah, 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 and it's like crappy acting, it's over, right?
Yeah.
So it's I think huge. I think all the sound designers out there are incredible. Their work is just going back to Control. The sound of that design of that game is low key the hero. Yeah. What a great, like, the effects, everything about it is just wild, and sound design plays a huge role in that.
I mean, my lot know my feels on this one, but one of the things, I've got actually Darren Korb from Supermassive on my show next week. And one of the reasons is because I honestly believe that when you start thinking about sound design as part of creating a game rather than a thing that you tack on after, you get a much more powerful experience. So that's why they were asking on that one. Star wants to know your favorite dessert.
Do watermelon Sour Patch Kids count as the dessert? Because those are the best.
Gonna say yes. Caffeine would like to know if you have a favorite alcoholic beverage.
Favorite alcohol? I mean, just like a nice lager is fine with me. I'll be all right.
Oh, and Shackle wants to ask a game that you love that you feel not enough people know about.
Final Fantasy VI is the greatest game of all time. More people should love that game. No game is better. And everyone who's out there saying it's not the greatest, you're simply wrong. And that's why it's underrated, because so many people are just wrong. Greatest game ever made.
That's wonderful. So, friendos, I'm going to bring this to a close. I know a couple of people were asking about the Blizzard situation. I am sure you've covered that on your show ad infinitum. I've spent 2 days talking about it.
I think everyone has. Yeah, I think we've all said a lot about it.
I said last night that if I have to use the phrase, what was it? Tencent and Alibaba again, I'm going to vomit on myself.
Yeah.
So, Jesse.
Yes.
I want to thank you so much for taking time to come on the show.
Pleasure.
Isocrid was like, when are you and Jesse going to hunt together? I actually haven't suggested to Jesse doing any video gaming stuff. If you do, if you'd be up for hanging with my plebeian ginger self, I'd love to murder some stuff with his.
Okay, sure.
Or at very least, I will try and find something that is co-op and very different, because that's something I specialize in.
Co-op and different is the reality I live, so I'm fine with that.
Have you done any of the We Were Here 2 games?
I am playing that tomorrow with
Nuts.
Dukes. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to dig deep. I will find something, friend. I will find something. Kestrel's like, we could play Sniper Elite 3. Did you ever get into the Sniper Elite games?
I played that with Sips from the Oxcast, and we shot Hitler in the balls, and it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, shot him in the ball, and it was great. And here's the worst part: it didn't kill him, so he like crumpled over. It was like mind balls, and then we had to run across the map and pop him in the head, and it was fine. Still felt good. Still felt great, but it was like, it could have been better. We could have exploded him or something, but whatever.
So good. Though Charlie Brooker's also in the third one, and I accidentally killed him, which made me feel real guilty, because he's very funny. Like, Charlie Brooker, why are you hanging out with Hitler? What is happening? That's another story. Well, I'll tell you what, Jesse, I will blep you at the Twitters. Please don't feel any obligation, because I know I'm asking you on air. Honestly...
All right. Yeah, I'm so tired I might forget, so
That's
you'll
all
have to
good.
remind me anyway.
Like with you, like with Alex and a bunch of friendos, it's basically my way to keep up with you, because you're doing a whole bunch.
Stop that incessant
Oh, Lucky
clicking.
Peter!
Lucky Peter, that's super dope. Thank you all kindly. So Jesse, thank you so much for your time. It's been great catching up with you, dude. It's glad
Thank
to
you.
hear LA's doing you well. Twitch seems to be treating you real good.
They try.
And yeah, if we do get to jam some video games together, that's going to be feckin' dope. Friendos, if by some bizarre quirk of fates you are not following Jesse Cox on both YouTube and Twitter, I cannot recommend him enough. You know,
Stop that incessant
I was a
clicking.
fan before I was a friend, so I give it the full recommendation.
Thank you.
So yeah, and yes, there is a truck backing up just outside my window.
I hear it. I thought that was the Lucky Peter 93 alarm, but no, it is.
No, it is. Gotta love this new digs. Yay!
Yeah.
Although I was in an arcade beforehand, so we don't have Mario Kart Arcade Edition going off in the background with Yahoo! That was another story. So yeah, Jesse, again, thank you so much for your time, friend. And I look forward to
Stop
hanging out
that
with you again.
incessant clicking.
Goodbye. Have a wonderful day, chat. I need to go make a phone call, apparently.
Go do the thing, dude. Go do the thing.
All right.
Okay, see you
Have a
later,
good one.
dude.
Bye.
That was Jesse! Yes! We had a Jesse! That was feckin' cool. Alright, let me just rearrange some stuff. So I do want to say, everyone that came over from Jesse's community, thank you all for being lovely. Thank you everyone who dropped bits, gifted subs, asked incredible questions.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Thank you, Lucky Peter. In the off chance I didn't get to introduce myself, my name is Will. I used to work in video games, and when I worked for the Total War series, that was when I got talking to Jesse, and I'm really happy we had a friend on. TSCTH says you forgot my question. There was a lot moving, so I do apologize. But what I will say is that if Jesse is genuinely coming on in the future, then yo, we're gonna kick some serious